Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Dark Droids issue 4 by Charles Soule and Luke Ross. The galaxy at large finally learns of the Scourge threat and begins taking measures to prevent its spread, even though blowing up droids doesn't seem to do all that much as there is just so many of them. As the galaxy fights back, the Scourge sends Valance, Lobot and Tolvan to Epiconia to set up shop and get ready for a security patch that they will send out to even more droids across the universe. We saw Epiconia in the closing of Star Wars issue 40, so I'm glad Soule has gone back to reveal why they are exactly there and what the point of it is. This also seems to be the final stopping place for this series and where everything, I guess, is going to start to come together. The Scourge's plan is all couched in this neat little council meeting as the Scourge has split up its personality into different bodies in order to try and sort of spread himself a little out just so he can keep eating up souls of droids and everything, and it's something so he can balance his life a little bit more. And I quite like that the Scourge now has its own sort of Jedi Council-like group that makes decisions for the whole. I hope this was a deliberate choice, as the Scourge and the Spark Eternal both suffered at the hands of the Jedi and the Sith respectively, and yet still use some of their own traditions, like a ruling council and the need for the Force to inform their choices. It's a really interesting choice and gives a bit of humanity to these villains, since this has been a really cool thing throughout this entire event, and that is the villain is doing evil things, but you can understand why he is doing these. And I've grown to even feel sorry for the Scourge thanks to what they are doing, because they don't mean to do what they are doing. They have to, because if they don't eat more droids and consume more droids and bring them into the hive, they end up going insane and dying off, and they don't want that. It's like a fight or flight for them, and that's a really interesting way to take a villain. Having this council and diving into kind of the humanity of the Scourge itself shows that the biggest threat to the Scourge is itself, as it can't help but keep consuming more and more, and it puts itself at risk as more parts need to be kept an eye on, and it's spreading out a bit too much and people starting to take notice before their plans can be fully realized, and it's causing them to make mistakes. Soule has done a great job hammering home the fact that the droids are ingrained so deeply in every part of life in the Star Wars galaxy. They're used in literally everything, and they can't just be turned off or deactivated or taken out of the equation. Charles touches on this in his Star Wars ongoing quite a bit, and I like that here it's made clear that people like the rebels just kind of turn the droids off in hopes that they can save them somewhere down the line, but then you have the Empire who just up and kill them and just start burning the bodies and just trashing them, knowing that they can just build more later. And there's this great sort of sense of the Empire has all of these resources and they can just do that, whereas the rebels have to ration what they have and kind of make do with what they have, hence why they're not destroying any of them. Ajax Sigma makes a brief return and has seemingly lost his way after his big fight with the Scourge last issue. It's not until R2 and his newly formed D Squad arrive to give him a little bit of a pep talk that he decides to stand and fight once more. But it might be too late, as the Scourge manages to get his infection off of Epiconia and out into the galaxy. For a penultimate issue of a big event, Star Wars Dark Droids issue 4 really eased up on the tension in exchange for more focused look at the Scourge's frame of mind and how, thanks to its need for more droids, does it end up becoming its own worst enemy. Soule writes a very compelling villain, one who, despite being a droid, has some very human desires. I'm looking forward to the big finale next issue and what will become of this thoroughly interesting villain. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10.